says we're going live. It says we're going live. It says we're here.
It says we're live.
All right, and all the bars are moving to indicate we're actually here with sound and picture and all of it.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because this would be, if not, this would be another moment where we would record an entire video and then learn that there was no sound. And I
hate when that happens.
Don't think I could handle it. I think that would be the both proverbial and literal straw that breaks this camel's back.
Yeah,
I would
can
just curl up in the fetal position under our little recording table here, and I'd just stay there for like a year. That would be it. That would be it.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So I believe we're here.
Okay.
I do like it when my existence is validated by others, but until then I'm going to say we're going to start. I want to say hi to y'all. Clearly, I want to skip all of the intro to say hi to folks, but we're not going to do that. Hello.
Hi.
Lord.
John Brownstone.
Loving BDSM, where we help Kingsters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. There's our weekly live stream where we record our podcast, the audio version of which hits all podcast apps every Friday. We are here as of the moment of speaking 3 minutes early, but clearly we've been here for a minute. If you are here before the stream, for the stream, what are words? I don't know. And you don't like idle chit chat? Distract yourself for a few minutes. If you're here after the stream, but before I put in timestamps, fast forward. Y'all know. Fast forward more than the 3 minutes. Y'all know. If you're not new here, you know. Okay. So I'm gonna say hello. Hi, Kitty. Hi, Dorina. Hi, Claire. Hi, Eva. Hi, Silent. Hi, Junie. And congrats, Junie, for being here early. Hi, Rara. Hi, Pinky. Hi, Mr. Spock. Hi, Be Your Haven. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, Rara, to have recorded 20 minutes and nothing was on? Yeah, that would be another reason I might have to curl up. The nice thing about the audio podcast, or if we're just recording audio, we use Audacity, and we're looking at the doolally that shows us the volume coming in, and so we're reasonably sure when that works. But man, this video part, not always.
Mr. Spock, I believe she did say that.
Fuck, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I have no memory of even saying we're here every whatever. I don't fucking know. I think I was trying to say that the audio version hits all major podcast apps every Friday. What were the actual words that came out of my mouth? I don't know.
We're here every Friday.
Technically, on your podcast app, we are here every Friday. And technically, because we don't remove these videos and live streams, we are here every Friday. So, technically, I'm not incorrect.
Oh
I'm
my
inaccurate.
fucking God.
Look, I am one minor inconvenience away from just giving up on everything all of the time, everywhere. Okay?
No.
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 I know. Nobody wants to do what I do and be me in this household. I'm aware. I mean, I wish I felt pride in being able to say none of y'all could be me, but that's not where my head is at. Hi, Lady Blooding.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the insanity.
It is. It's technically noon, and we've not done a butt rub. I've just had an existential crisis all over the screen.
YouTube, yep.
Yeah, so for anybody who thought we're going to fast forward or come back after 3 minutes, you got a few minutes. How are you doing? Because clearly we don't need to think about how I'm doing.
Me?
How are you doing? What have you got on your mind for the butt rub portion?
They don't want to know.
Yeah, I'm currently at a moment in life where every moment of the day I'm either one inconvenience away from tears or one annoyance away from just getting in my car and driving in a direction. Don't ask me which direction. I don't know north from south, east from west, away from the sun, so it's not in my eyes. Okay, whatever direction that happens to be at the time that I get in my car, and I just drive. And I'll just keep driving. Hit the ocean, keep going. It's a Toyota. It'll be fine. It'll make it underwater because nothing stops a fucking Toyota. I'm only at 102,000 miles. I easily have another 100,000 miles in that car. Just saying. So this is going to be a great episode this week.
If you say so.
Well, I said it with a bit of, flavor, but I say everything with flavor. Somebody give me a word. I don't know. I said it with a bit of something. Something that was probably not positive.
No.
For anybody who's like watching us for the very first time, maybe a trusted kink friend said you should totally watch them. They're helpful. Lola is giving voice to my feelings right now. We are both always like this and not usually quite like this. Like usually we pretend for a few minutes to be professionals.
Come on, Howley.
Thank you, Lola, for crying in a way that resonates deep in my soul.
She knows. She knows.
Okay, now she's going to sit at my feet and I feel special. Mm-hmm. So, hello, I guess we should get into it. You didn't have anything, right? I'm not just talking over you as I always do, as the internet likes to remind me.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, so we're at 12:02. Let's just do the damn thing, y'all. As you can tell, we're gonna talk about our relationship today and our power exchange. And I'm in a mood, so this
Let me know when to click the magic button.
Okay, so you're not even gonna listen to me. You're just gonna wait for me to cue you.
Yeah.
Okay. Story of my life. If we have not scared you off and you actually enjoy whatever the fuck this happens to be today, we'd love a thumbs up. If you are brave enough to come back for more, please consider subscribing. Please consider subscribing. I'm giving you the cue!
And once you subscribe, go ahead and ring the notification bell to get updates of new content.
Do you really want to? After seeing whatever this is, are you sure you want to come back and you purposely want to see it? Isn't it better to just stumble across us like, the parts of the nightmare in a really dark like movie where the music is a little creepy and the lighting is so bad, you're like, what is this? Where have I ended up? Here with us. I mean, if you want that, hit the notification bell. Go ahead and hit the button. We have things to get into. Okay. So, the first thing we got a couple of announcements. First one, I'm just going to remind you, we're in the last week-ish, depending on when you listen / watch / whatever this, of our Patreon membership drive. Our Patreon community is literally sometimes what keeps the lights on and the cameras going. So, if you've got it to spare and want to do it, consider joining us on Patreon. If you join by February 15th, you'll get some fun little goodies in the mail late March, early April-ish. If you join as an annual member, you get 2 months for free. If you join as a monthly member, you can cancel at any time. That's fine. To get the special stuff, you just have to be a paying member by February 15th, 2024. And yeah, patreon.com/Kayla Lords. Link in the places. I mean, I feel like I've said the Patreon link so often that anybody who's a repeat person here could probably say it with me at this point. The next thing, and arguably one of the most important things of the day, is that I would like to thank our sponsor, Beducated.
Yay!
We love education, especially about sex and kink. Yay! So if you're not familiar with Beducated, because you're new here and I haven't scared you off already, Beducated is an online learning platform specifically for sex and kink and relationships. Do I wish they had a bigger kink section? Of course I do. Am I impressed with what they have and the fact that the classes I've taken have been excellent education from people who know what the hell they're talking about and it's legitimately helpful stuff? Yes. So they're running a Valentine's Day special right now. If you use our code LOVING, you save 50% off, which half off is that's a good deal to me. You get 24 hours free trial, so you can like sign up and look around and see if it's even for you, if they have the classes you want. And then if you get past that 24 hours and you've paid for your membership and you're in it and you're just not satisfied with what they've got, it's a 14-day money back guarantee. So
nice.
You're not stuck if you find out it's not for you. Now, some of us celebrate Valentine's because we're those kinds of people. Some of us, even if we're partnered up, are like, fuck that fake holiday. I don't know who you are, but I think there's something for you regardless of who you are. So if you're like all relationshiped up and you're all feeling all romantic, there's all kinds of classes you can take with a partner to enhance things. And, you know, if we're enhancing sexually, there's oral sex classes, both bits, okay? Tab A, slot B, you can get skills there, okay? There's a pegging class plus a just strap-on play class, which I'm sure is going to talk about elements of pegging, but also elements that are not pegging. What else? Shibari, wax play, just rough sex, kinky sex, spanking, whatever is floating your boat.
What a great way to spend some time and kink up your life and learn some things.
Right. Yeah. And even if you're signaling, you're like, fuck this Valentine's shit, but you're like, but there's some shit I'd like to know how to do the next time I'm hooking up with whoever I'm hooking up with. There's stuff for you too. I'm just saying. Now, if you are feeling all romantic and you're like, ooh, I want to improve my relationship, and I've already watched whatever the dumpster fire is. It's going to be this State of the Union episode. And I would like to do it better than that. Then you've got classes on communication and intimacy and vulnerability and connection and y'all. So use the link in the places. YouTube, that's description box. Podcast listeners, that's, what's it called? Show notes. Use our link. Go and do the thing. And if you decide to sign up, use code LOVING for 50% off. For their Valentine's Day special sale. Yeah. And thanks to Beducated for not only sponsoring us this time, but for continuing to sponsor us, even though we are clearly chaotic as fuck. I keep saying I want to be a professional, and then I keep not being one, and so I feel like I just need to, like, give it up, and I think I've said that before, too. So
are you professionally being non-professional?
Oh, no.
Is that what it...
No. I feel like I'm trying and failing, and so periodically I go, I give up, and then I'll get a little bit of optimism back, and I'll try again. And get
a second wind.
Yeah. Or a 53rd, you know, whatever. So, let's see, what else? That was it. Again, thank you, Beducated. We appreciate that. So this episode, my brain, I keep thinking State of the Union because I'm American. I don't know if other countries have a similar type of speech or refer to themselves as the Union. I know we do, and I know why we do. But it's like, it's the State of the Union of our power exchange. And we've done something like this before. We did it back in 2022. We called it checking in on our power exchange. And it was meant to be sort of an example of how you can do a relationship check-in. And in that episode, I did not go back and watch or listen to any of it, but I think we were stressed because that's how we live our life now. But I think we were in enough of a good headspace that it was kind of organized, because I looked at the notes and I was like, wow, we actually broke it up by sections. Parenting, business, our kink life. I was like, wow, look at us. We were attempting to be professional there. This one came to mind as a topic, and it's kind of a redo, but not a redo. Just, in my opinion, you should periodically check in with one another in your power exchange. So you can do this over and over again. But this one is more about the vibes. It's more about how we're feeling and less about it's about what's happening or not happening, but I think it's more about how we're feeling about what's happening or not happening. At least that's how I'm feeling, and I'm happy to do this topic. I'm a little afraid. The emotions are like there is a single layer of cells that separates my emotions from the breakdown that I don't have time to take. So I don't know what this is going to be like. I hope I'm laughing and being ridiculous throughout. but I might be in the fetal position and crying under the table. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. So part of this is it therapeutic for us? Yes, I think it might be. I do not think that anybody needs to mimic anything about our power exchange, because it's got to be unique to everybody. So this isn't meant to be whatever we end up talking about. And I did write down questions to try and keep myself on track. Thanks. It's more of a, hey, here's your reminder to make sure at some point you're doing your own check-in in your own relationships. Long-term, new, doesn't matter. The newer the relationship to me, and I think you agree, the more often there should be check-ins. We don't usually schedule check-ins anymore because we try to be consistently communicating, but sometimes you just need a bigger, broader conversation. You need to like plan it out, set a time, make time for it, do your best to eliminate distractions. Ironic, because my greatest distraction is my own brain, so I don't know what we're gonna do there. And just like discuss the state of your union, whatever union it may be. And so I'm going to take a big sip of coffee and we're going to do this. I did link to the 2022 episode where we did an organized-ish one. That I think is more of a good template. If you're like, what are these kinds of check-ins? What might they be like? That one's a decent one, I think. I have a feeling that if we had to go back and listen to anything we said in 2022, we would laugh our fucking asses off, because what did hopeful 2022 us know that we know better now in 2024?
Yeah.
So I've got a series of questions, and I'll just put it out there and you start, because I know I suck up all the oxygen, and then I'll probably interrupt the fuck out of you. State of the Union, first question. From your perspective, how are we doing? I'm thinking specifically power exchange, but you can go wherever you need to go with that question. How are we doing?
Wow. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'm filled with faith that whatever is coming out of your mouth next.
Overall, we're doing well, I think. I think the big clincher is that we have had a couple of life changes.
Yeah.
Okay. And that has thrown a major monkey wrench in the things that we do. And at this point in time, we really haven't found a way through it yet.
No, we're in a pretty big transition of part of our life.
Right.
That's not our kink life. It's just our every other part of life.
Yeah.
And we don't know what that really looks like. And there's unknowns, and there's decisions that have to be made. And I don't know if anybody has noticed, I don't do well with change.
No,
unless
you
it's
don't.
change I want. Like if I'm like, yes, let's do the thing. I'm still going to struggle.
That's true.
But I'm like, I get the dopamine hit of this is a thing I want to do. Let's go do the thing. I'm excited. This is one where there were no good options, and this was the best of not great options. And we haven't found our groove. And this is the personal side of life with parenting and childcare and taking care of the 14-year-old and some things that he needs to be healthy and whole and hopefully eventually happy.
Yeah.
But we have done what we needed to do, and life has fundamentally shifted. And I realized, about 30 seconds before we sat down to do the episode, that I was like, oh, that's right. I really don't do well when I don't have a routine or my routine changes, and I feel very unmoored from fucking everything, and it sends me on my own little crazy train. And but I have to spend like a few weeks denying that and going, I'm fine, and then finally admitting, no, I'm not fine.
I mean,
no,
there are people who, and I am in shock and awe of them, people who embrace change.
I feel like a weirdo, because I'll tell you on one side of my mouth I fucking hate change, and then the next side of my mouth I'm going to go, but if I choose the change, it's so exciting. Yeah. Let's go do the change.
Yeah. And, it's I mean, change is inevitable. It's going to happen, but you know it.
Yeah, I think what you're better at than I am, I think, and you're pretty good at doing it for me, is accepting that the transition part is difficult. Even if we did choose it, but like I said, best option out of not great ones.
Right.
You know, there's still that time from the time you decide on the change and then the time you implement it to the however long it takes to settle in and go, okay, this is the new normal and I know how this works and you know, I can figure this out. Right now everything is new and unknown, and there's, you know, in that part of our personal life there's a lot of unanswered questions, which does not help.
Yeah.
And it does take up, I know from my perspective, 95% of my time and energy.
Right.
And I hate making it sound like it's a problem because it's the kid. I will give him 110% of my time and energy for what he needs. But when I'm thinking about it in terms of, okay, what's happening with our power exchange, what's happening with our relationship, what's happening with everything else we do, you know, as anybody would assume, it takes away from that because our energy just needs to be somewhere else.
Elsewhere. And I think that's a good part of it, because, you know, in all honesty, you are doing things for him that I just can't.
Weirdly, I think I can't either, but it's got to be done.
Yeah. And you know, I have just kind of stepped back to let you do that and be as supportive as I can, which has meant a lot of Diet Cokes and coffee.
Yeah, you don't really flinch when we're out running errands. I'm like, but also, can we stop? I need a Diet Coke.
Right.
Also, I'm going to stop and get us a coffee this morning. Do you want one? Because we, as in me, is getting one. Yeah, I where I can, I indulge myself because you use what you can to get through. Sometimes.
So, you know, at that point, between that and other things that are happening
yeah
with us, you know,
us you
know, other than our normal day-to-day routine,
right,
you know, outside of that there has not been much.
I have to say, when it comes to our power exchange, and we'll get into it, I think I want more than what we can do right now. I want more than kind of what we have in terms of our power exchange.
Yeah.
I understand why we can't. I look forward to a time and hope that time occurs when we can. But I am grateful for the routine that and the way we set up our dynamic, the actual day-to-day of it years ago, because when everything else is what it is, I can rely on that, which is why here's what happens. So there's a lot going on. My focus is pulled in multiple directions, but big chunk of my focus is just on being a mom right now. And so what happens is, like, when I forget a task or I don't do it correctly, it's devastating because I'm like, this is all I have right now and I cannot do it, or I can't do it well.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Told you it was right under the surface. Woo. So, yeah, that's how I'm doing.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah, it's made it difficult. And, you know, yes, having our routines to fall back on in all the chaos that has been going on has at least, you know, given us a baseline to run on.
Yeah,
so to speak.
We have that to fall back on. Like,
yeah,
you were always the decider. We've had to make a lot of non-kink, non-power exchange decisions lately, and ultimately, you're the final word. We're in step. I mean, there's not been a decision made lately that we're not in step on. We might disagree on how to get to a place, but we're in sync on where we're going and what we're trying to do. And so that helps. And to the best of my ability, I keep up with, my regular tasks. And that's, it's like when there's nothing else, that's something.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think right now, I look forward to us doing things like running errands and things like that to escape and have some time together, if that makes any sense.
It's funny because I agree. We're going to make a little road trip on Saturday to go buy mica pigment.
All right.
Because we want to go into the store and look at the colors and make sure we're getting the colors we want.
Right.
And it's an 1.5-hour drive, and the 14-year-old is looking forward to his few hours of solitude. And it's, we're like super excited about it. Like, we had to arrange with the person who runs the shop. Like, normally they are only there for a certain amount of time. We're like, but if we come between this time, will you be there and can we come in and spend our money? But so it's exciting to go do that thing because we have a business, but it's, we're going to get a few hours where it's just the two of us just doing our thing. And yet I'm at a point with just life in general that the distractions, sometimes the distractions are exactly what I need, and I get to just go be another part of myself for a while, and we will, to the best of our ability and not to like freak the vanillas out, we'll be in our dynamic, with it, in that time. And but the hard part about the distractions and getting away is that sometimes that's the bigger worry of, if I'm distracted, what am I not focusing on outside of us, outside of our relationship that I need to be? Am I missing something? Am I doing something wrong? Am I causing harm? And I know I'm not. I'm like every other person on the planet. I'm just doing the best I can. It's just there's a lot of pressure, and it's self-imposed pressure. Nobody will pressure me like I will pressure me. So I don't always like enjoy the distractions. We got invited to a play party that's like a Valentine's-y kind of play party. It's after the weekend after Valentine's.
Yes.
Right? And of course my my socially anxious self like immediately like clinched up and went, I don't know if I can do it. And then the part of me that just is constantly in a caretaking role outside of this dynamic goes, should we, is that the best thing? Can I even, it's so weird because there's a part of me that goes, in my mind goes, you have got to find ways to not, I'm going to say let it go, but it's not a let it go. It's a temporarily like have time, make time for yourself, make time for your relationship, make time to do things you enjoy. Like logically, reasonably, I know all of that. I know all of it. And yet I'm kind of stuck in a pattern right now of there's all these things to worry about. There's all these things that need my focus. And what happens if I take my eye off of all of those spinning plates for a minute? And so I get very uncomfortable with the idea of that. And yet I know that it's needed. I know it's necessary. I know that if I don't figure out ways to refill my own well, I am screwed, because some of the stuff we're dealing with is a long haul thing. Nothing will be sorted and solved in the next 3 to 5 business days. Right?
No.
We might be talking 3 to 5 business years. Like I know that.
And the thing is, yes, those things are important because, we need to steal away those moments when we can.
I know.
I'm kind of going to jump ahead here a little bit. One of your questions is what we miss from previous times. And I think this kind of flows into that question a little bit. What I miss. The way we were able to just play at a moment's notice.
Oh, sure.
Okay. The way we had the ability to slip away to the dungeon when we wanted to. And those things are not available.
Yeah, not
right
currently.
now. Not currently. Yeah.
I know the optimist within me just goes, this is just a moment in time, and things will change again, and there will be different opportunities and new opportunities. The part of me that craves routine and knowing what happens next is like, yes, but I want to go back to things I know what happens next.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'll have to get over that because that's not how that works.
Yeah.
It's funny on that question of what we miss from previous times. So this is not going to sound like it connects, but just go with my whatever the fuck my brain is here. So I've been not dealing with my feelings by doing a lot of reading. And I was like, I need a palate cleanser because I'd read a lot of romantic fantasy romance, whatever the fuck they want to call it. And I was like, yeah, but it's not kinky enough. It's not sexy enough. And I came across a series about people who own a sex club and their personal kinks and relationships. And it's a delightful series. Do I know the name of it? Of course I don't. The first book in the series is what hooked me because it was the featured couple was Dom Sub. So y'all know I'm in it, and she's got a praise kink. And that's actually, other than submission, the praise kink is like her thing. They're not into impact. They're not into bondage. And I'm like, okay, but I can go with this. And the thing I ended up tearing up multiple times reading that, not because there was necessarily anything, tear worthy. Like it was good. It was a good story, but not enough that under different circumstances would get me crying. But it was because I was reading a fairly well written power exchange where in the world of fiction, she got to just, in these times they were together, she got to just let go. And it was a little bit tropey of, she's an air quote natural sub, and we know I kind of side eye a little bit at some of that, and she just sort of fell into it, and it was difficult, but it was easy, and it shut her brain off to be able to just do what her dom says. And I'm over here going, I cannot believe I'm envious of a fictional character when I'm literally living my own power exchange. But that's the thing I miss, the luxury, and it is a fucking luxury to go, the world gets to be tuned out, and whatever you tell me to do, I'm just going to do. Now, part of the problem is I'm a little bit out of practice, and I'm way too sassy for my own good. I don't know. I don't think I've fully lost the ability, but I am so out of practice that my brain doesn't even know how to shut off anymore. If you tell me to do something, I'll do it, but I have about 35.3 questions. There's a questionnaire and survey I'm going to need you to fill out about what is happening and why. And I'm more like that the more stressed out and more the crazier things are. And when things are relatively calm, it is easier to just go with it. And at least in my experience, I would not say that that's an automatic for anybody else. And so finished that book in a very short time. It was a good read, and was turned on because the kinky sex was hot. Yes, but also I was like, I am a little sad now because I have just gotten a very clear and visceral reminder of what we don't have right now. Yeah. And it's, I'm always tempted to put a lot of the blame on myself that I am the sole reason we don't have that. And yet I know that currently you're not in a place to be able to be that kind of dom right now. It's just the fact that in order to be able to stop, focus on one another, you tell me to do things sexy or not sexy, but in that very clear power exchange way, you don't always have the bandwidth to be that guy. No. And when we individually have the bandwidth, lately it has not matched up. It's not happening at the same time.
No, it's not. It's not. Is this the book?
That is book 2 of that series. I finished that this morning before I got up. The author is Sarah Kate.
Cate.
Sarah without an H.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I'm on the third book. Is definitely going to be it's going to start as a threesome. I can see it happening. It's going to move into a poly relationship. And this is from like it was not a content warning. It was just here's a heads up of what's going to happen in this book. And it's somebody who's going to figure out their bisexuality. And I'm like 20% in already. I'm like, tell me, give it to me, give me more. Let me live through fictional characters.
Yeah, and for me, it's been a thing where I have been lurking a good bit on Fed. And I see a lot of people talking about their power exchange and the structure that they have. I'm like, yeah, I kind of miss that.
I feel like I'm turning a little cynical, which is really weird because my inner optimist is so light and airy and wide-eyed. But I sort of, other than in fiction, I guess, because that hasn't bothered me. But when I come across stuff online and people are talking about their sort of real life experience and what their dynamic looks like, what they want their dynamic to look like, what they're negotiating for their dynamic, that my inner cynic, it's just my optimist who's tired, y'all. She's like, well, good luck with that when life kicks you in the nuts. I don't have nuts, but life has kicked me there. Yeah. Those nuts have been kicked. And I don't want to be that way because, first of all, there are absolutely people who go through the chaos of life and their power exchange is 100% what gets them through it.
Yeah.
There are people, and I feel like that's who I'm speaking on behalf of, who are like, our power exchange is good. I feel it all the time. However, life has kicked me in the nuts. And so it's not crumbling, but it's not what I want it to be. And I don't like that. I don't like that I can't have exactly what I want out of our power exchange. I also don't like that life keeps going. Here, hold my beer. Let's see.
Right.
But I mean, we've been talking about that for years, and it's like it's almost a boring subject at this point. But I would rather represent and help people who are in our position who feel bad about that, who feel shame for that, who are telling themselves that they're not really in power exchange because all of the intricacies of their dynamic kind of break apart or dwindle or diminish or just fucking disappear in these times of life. And to me, that's the more realistic thing. I think if people can maintain their very clear power exchange and all the intricacies of it through the craziest shit, I think they're the exception, not the rule. And I'm very happy for them, but I cannot relate. I think I said it a couple weeks ago. I have a lot of competing priorities, and I genuinely, most of the time, believe if everything's a priority, nothing is. But I also think, as with all sayings that are supposed to hold truths in them, it's too simplistic. You can have multiple priorities. Working to pay the bills and keep a roof over our head is a priority.
Yeah.
Helping one of your children through a very tough time in their life is a priority. But also, maintaining a relationship that has to be maintained in order to stay healthy, that is a priority. And a couple of those priorities might be higher up on the list, right? And this is why having a conversation like this, as awkward as I feel right now, because I can tell y'all all kinds of shit. I can put my butthole on the internet, but something about crying on camera or into a microphone, I'm just, I don't like it. But these kinds of check-ins, as emotional as they can be, when it's not we have a clear plan, what are we going to do for our relationship, right? They're important because for me at least, it reminds me I'm not alone. Sometimes it gives an opportunity for me to express something better than in those passing things where JB kindly goes, "How are you doing?" And he's asking at a time when I'm trying to decide between 5 very important things that have to get done, and also dealing with mom guilt, submissive guilt, just guilt, because apparently that's who I am now. And I'm not able to like give the in-depth, let me look deep into your soul, let me try to explain myself kind of answer. And what he gets is my very snarky answer that then doesn't really convey where I'm at completely. And then he's more like, "Oh, she's in a pissy mood, I should avoid her." And I'm thinking, no, please don't avoid me, even though I'm sending out all of the signals that say avoid me. Please don't avoid me. Please stay right here by my side. I can't give you any tasks to do because I don't know what I would ask you to help me with, but just, I'm right now with things going on. I think my biggest thing is wanting to feel seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's so weird how things you don't think are connected can be connected. My desire to want to be seen and understood, and I can't think of other words because this brain is not wording today, in these kinds of times stem in part from times as a child where I was going through it and I was not seen and I was not understood. And so then I spend what feels like an inordinate amount of time trying to get you to fully, exactly down to like the cellular level, understand how I'm feeling and what's going on with me. And I don't know how helpful that is. I don't even know how possible that is. And yet at the same time, I do not want or need JB to do that for me. Like if he says I am stressed, all of my validation, yes, you are. And I can list all the reasons you are. I know why you are. And also let's come up with solutions together. But when I'm on that other end of it, it's either I curl inward and I distance myself and I pull away, or I lash out. Neither of which makes me feel like a good submissive. Neither of which makes me feel like I am serving and submitting and being the best little baby girl I know how to be.
Well, for me, and a lot of the things we have, you know everything we have on our plate.
I probably know shit you don't know that we got on our plate.
You're right. That scares the hell out of me, too.
I dole that out as I feel like you can handle one more thing.
Yeah. And my kind of solution for that has been to dive into my work. And just like you're doing for the boy, what you're doing, I feel like what I'm doing is helping us in that aspect.
And when you say that, I go, oh God, not only, yes, do I see that, but also you're right. It's working because we're having record sales for this time of the year for us.
Yeah.
It's not enough to get us where we want to be, but man, it's good. It's getting us closer.
Yeah.
And I get so lost in what I'm going through that I don't want to say I don't acknowledge what you're doing, because I do, and God, I appreciate it, but I don't recognize it for what it is. But also, I think I'm jealous. My typical coping mechanism for high stress time is work, and work has to be done, and it still is, and we've got enough of a routine that we get shit done.
Yeah.
But I don't have the time to lose myself in work, and I think that's a little bit of what's fucking me up too. So what I'm doing is I'm losing myself in fiction, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I'm also having that moment of, here's a thing that lets me forget everything, and so I can fall into it for 2 or 3 hours at a time if you let me. But also here are all the other things that are not happening while I'm losing myself here. And some of those things I need to just let go of, not forever, but for those 2 or 3 hours I need to disconnect from. But some of those things are time for you and I to spend together. Things that you and I'm like over here lost in the Kindle app on my phone because what I need is more time with a screen in my face. So instead of, hey, let's watch TV together, hey, let's have a conversation together, hey, let's go run errands together, hey, let's just be together, I'm like, actually, I'm going to dissociate for a while into a fictional world that is not my creation.
Yeah. And you know, for me of late, I know I haven't really said much about it, but you know, there has been something with me that has been looming since last August, September, if not longer, and it's been one of those things that has just been a long, slow, drawn out process, and by next week could conceivably
we'll be on a different path with it,
be on a different path with it.
And maybe working towards a resolution.
Right.
Yeah, we've had so much chaos for so long, my brain can't quite comprehend that some things could come to a conclusion.
Yeah.
And a conclusion that is favorable to us. Like, what? This could work out in our favor.
Right.
And yet, when it fucking happens, I'm gonna fucking celebrate. I'm gonna be like, whoo, let's cross that off the mental list. That is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, let me get back to our questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to put two of these together. What is it that we wish power exchange wise that we were doing that we're not, that we were back previous times, the before times we were doing and we no longer are? And how are we feeling about what we're not doing and or what we are doing? I mean, I think part of it is I miss the every so often you would go like definite big D and I could just like shut my brain off.
Yeah.
Like the way I shut my brain off now is to fall into a fictional world.
Yeah.
And I've used that most of my life. I would like to shut my brain off because a man with a very stern gaze is like threatening me with the best time of my life. You know what I mean? That's where I would like to shut my brain off.
Yeah. You know, for me, there are a lot of things that I believe we could be doing, things we should be doing, and the more I think about it, those things, the worse it makes me feel that we're not.
Oh God, yeah. I was hoping you were going to go there because I was like, don't make me have to be the one to say.
You know, yeah, no, I do, and you know, this week alone has been crazy. You know, with me, it started Monday with phone calls,
tough phone calls.
Yeah,
and you've got to remake.
And I've still got
phone calls.
Yeah,
yeah, I know.
You know, the phone call wasn't a fix all. It was just, you know, okay, what do we do, kind of thing, and I feel bad about the things we're not doing, and yet with everything that we are doing, it's like, okay, where do I pull the bandwidth?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at a certain point, you run out of time and or energy, and I think for both of us, it's both, because by the end of the day, when we might get 10 minutes together, it's like, I'd love to do some kinky ass fucking shit, but also I cannot keep my eyes open.
Right. Yeah.
And also, some part of my body hurts, and so you can't do as much as you would like to anyway. And there's always an and also. So let's depress the fuck out of ourselves together.
Right.
What are some things that you're missing?
I think the spontaneity. All right, the ability to have that spontaneity to, you know, at any given moment say, okay, we're going to do this now.
Right. Yeah. Like in middle of the day or middle of the night, or just we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna have this moment.
Right.
And that moment can last 5 minutes or 45 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I think for me, that's what I miss most of all.
And I see that, and I kind of agree. There's a part of my brain that will never be okay with spontaneity. Like, it's just too much. Yeah. But I get what you're saying. I'll give you a case in point about how you can want it and you still can't make it happen. So last night we knew we had to go run an errand, and then they ended up being fucking closed when we got there.
Yeah.
But I said, hey, while we're out, can we stop and get a Diet Coke? Because we don't have any in the house right now. And I was like, I could really use a Diet Coke. It's been a day. Mm-hmm. And this one goes, what do I get for it? And I'm like, well, what do you want? I mean, he's Daddy Dom. What do you want? He goes, a blowjob. I go, okay. Now, first of all, if you're new here, you don't know how wildly radical it is that I went, okay. Right. Not because I'm not being submissive enough, but because the old libido has just, she's on vacation. And that, here's the part okay. So the book I was telling you about, where it's the DS couple, written by Sarah Kate. I think somebody in the live chat got the title for me. It's called Praise. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not literature, but it's so good. Anyway, I had finished reading that while JB was falling asleep the night before. So this was Monday night, because Tuesday's like, give me the blowjob. I'll get back to that story. Go on this derailed train ride with me. Okay.
Go on a journey.
So I had finished that book as JB was falling asleep. And for once in a very long time, I was so turned on, was like, oh yeah, I would like to have the sex now. But I am not good at initiating. I can initiate, but then we're done. You better take over, right? So I was like, oh shit, he's sort of snoring over there. I think he's asleep. But maybe if I do some things, and by do some things, I mean literally rub my ass up on his junk for a solid 20 minutes. He was not picking up what I was putting down because he was asleep. Because
I was out.
That's kind of, once either of us falls asleep, we are down for the count. Yeah. It's just exhaustion just takes us once we can get to sleep. And so I'm like doing all my best tricks. I mean, I believe I got pretty physical. He was so tired he slept through, y'all. And I'm not mad about that. But so when the very next day, first of all, did I tell him almost immediately upon awakening what he missed the night before? Yes, I did. Did I do a speed run through book 2, hoping it would get me to the same level of arousal that book 1 did? I did, and it didn't. The story it was fine, but it didn't hit my kinks. Okay. So last night, after he knows this, he missed his opportunity, and I don't know how to do more than apparently rub my ass against your dick. That is how I entice and seduce, okay? If you wondered. So when he goes, a blowjob, I'm like, okay. First of all, I'm still kind of feeling the residual from the night before, and I still was holding out high hopes for the second book I was reading. But also I'm like, you might do sketchy shit for a Klondike bar, but I will do all kinds of shit for a Diet Coke. So here we go. Happy to do it. I also have good memories from the last time I gave you a blowjob that turned very power exchangey kinky, and it was a delight. Yep. So, I'm kind of in my mind going, okay, we're doing something tonight. It might just be a blowjob. We might not fuck, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm good. We're gonna do the thing because I agreed. And then we laid down in bed. And here's the thing. I don't want anybody to think that I think that I'm upset or I think less of JB or any of that, because I totally get it. He lays down. He smoked his bowl before, so he's nice and relaxed. And he was so relaxed, he got to lay down and was just out. And I went, there will be no blowjobs tonight. Okay. No. Okay. And again, it's one of those weird things where it is funny to me because it's just a comedy of errors. It's so typical of things that happen with us right about now. I'm not upset that there was no blowjob. I wouldn't have been put out if there had been. Like, I was down for whatever, but it's sort of and it happens to both of us. Like, JB can be kind of geared up, and he's rubbing his junk up on my ass. Like, he is reciprocating. And I have to kind of go, I love you so much, Daddy, but here's my laundry list of things going on that maybe I didn't already mention. Yeah. And it's just, The irony of it.
It's
like,
been...
we can want to do the things and still not be able to do the things.
It's been like a comedy of errors.
Oh, God. If I don't laugh, I'm just going to start crying again, and nobody wants that. But you know what? It's so weird because in that, there's a lot of what we didn't do, but here's my inner shiny, glittery optimist. It's like, but how long has it been since we've even joked about that, talked about that, tried to plan for it? Like, I can absolutely see where somebody else would be super disappointed. And I mean, there was some disappointment, not enough for me to like be upset, but yeah, do I wish that, we'd made good on that? Sure. But I'm actually more hopeful about whatever's coming down the road for us, because it's been a hot ass minute since we could even have that conversation. Yeah. I could even have the desire to be desired. Like that's a step in the right direction. Yes. In the midst of chaos. Like, if my inner cynic was allowed to drive, she would be like, well, of course we come up with a plan and still can't do it. This is our... No, my inner optimist is like, shut up, bitch. Actually, this is a good thing, and this is a silver lining.
Yeah.
Because it means we're still in there somewhere, desperately clawing our way out, right?
Yeah.
It's... I don't know. Here's what's weird to me. Not about this little check-in and State of the Union that we're doing, but more of this specific line of conversation. There was a time in the not that distant past, I put my whole ass and my whole ass sex life on the internet. Okay? Openly.
That's how we met.
Here's what I do. Here's what my junk looks like, y'all. Like, I did that. And yet we're sitting here in this space where we primarily talk about the relationship aspect of things. Yeah. And it's very infrequent, and it's been a long time, I think, since we've been very explicit about sex. That I am like, I can't believe I'm talking about my sex life on a podcast when what started my life as Kayla Lords was talking about my sex life. I don't know.
Come full circle.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think part of it is because I know there's plenty of people who don't know that side of me. Who are like, why are we getting this detail? Well, because if you are new here, you don't know I don't have a filter.
Yeah.
I don't know how to not say all the things sometimes. I don't know. Okay. So to how do I put this? To kind of close this up. Did I click on the screen to see a thing and then not look at the thing and click away for another thing? Yes, I did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Or is there anything? And the answer might be no. From before the past 4 years or so, where we've just complained ad nauseum about our fucking life. From the before times, however we want to define the before times, that we no longer do, that we don't miss. And I think it's valid to go, no, there's nothing. But is there ways that we were with one another in power exchange that we don't really
miss,
and that we don't miss?
I don't think so.
I don't know how long I did this, and maybe it just didn't last very long. So sometimes I miss you're like, you tell me you give me the look that you're halfway giving me now. I wish you put your glasses on because I don't know if I could stand the heat from that. But you would get all like stern and like, tell me to do a thing. And the expectation was I would do the thing.
Right.
Now, in scene, that would be lovely and hot.
Yeah.
In life, every once in a while I do. You go, baby girl, I need you to... whatever. I go, okay, and I go do the thing. But you don't have to be stern. You get to be your daddy self. But we now have lived a power exchange life for so long that most of the time I have questions. I would like more context. I need more understanding. It's not a jump and do without thought, without thinking. Every once in a while, absolutely. Simple stuff for sure. If my mind has kind of been on the lack of, behaving the way I would like to as a submissive for a while, yes, it's much easier. But like in just the natural flow of things when we're just existing, you might ask me to do something, but I'm going to have questions, and you do not expect automatic obedience. As long as I'm not being a bitch about it, you're like, yeah, you can ask whatever questions you need to. Sure. We'll talk about it. I know that you are that anxious bitch, and I will do what I can to soothe that part of you. I don't really, in a hot ass scene, yes, I miss that immediate obedience. But in the rest of our life, I do not miss that at all.
I know I kind of know that because
But do you miss it?
Do I miss it? To a certain extent, yes.
Because it makes your life easier, doesn't it?
Well, it's not that it makes my life easier. To a certain extent, it does. But in those moments when I do that, that is for me like a spontaneous flexing of those muscles. Okay.
And then there I go, and I just poke holes in that balloon with all my questions.
But at this, and you know what, the question part of it, I know you well enough after all these years to know you are going to have questions, and it's okay to ask questions. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also know you don't have the bandwidth for it either. You don't.
I think the hardest part lately is we are in sync and in tune with one another on a lot of levels. We just kind of have to be. But when it comes to when you want to flex that dom muscle, or when I'm like, oh, I want to feel super submissive right now, that has not yet lined back up.
No,
we are not in sync there at all right now.
No, in that aspect, I agree. Absolutely. I think, and at least I hope so, that our relationship as a whole, okay, let's put the DS aside. I think with all we have been doing, I think overall our relationship is good because we have kept an open line of communication about everything that is happening and everything that is going on, and we talk about it and we share our feelings, okay? And I think that in and of itself is important.
I'd like to believe that there will come a day when nothing might actually change about our lives, but we have just adjusted to the transition, right? Like we're in a transitionary period where things have changed and we have not settled into whatever that looks like. And whether things change again fundamentally for the positive or we just settle in, whichever that is. When life calms down in a new way again,
right,
that we can have the conversation less about the stressful stuff, the future plan stuff, the what's not working stuff. Like, I think all of those conversations are very important. But I need to believe that there will come a day where we can sit down and go, okay, well, yeah, we've all this is kind of handled for right now. We're muddling through with it, and it's fine. It's, some of this is back on autopilot. Now, what do we want to do differently from our power exchange perspective? And not just play, because the thing about play, I find in general over the past few years where things have been wild, we don't play nearly as often as we'd like to.
No.
But when even one of us gets a little bit mindful about it, we find those opportunities again. But in our power exchange beyond
last week I did call you out to the shop, told you I needed some help, and then bent you over the bench. Yes,
and it was hilarious because our next door neighbor was working in their backyard putting up some fence paneling, and it was like an alternating, I think we were using maybe a staple gun or something.
Yeah.
Something like a pneumatic something. And so there'd be the smack from the paddle, it was like a crack. It was so loud. And then there'd be the crack or whatever the tool was, and they were alternating for a hot minute. And I was like, I hope whoever that is thinks that we're working on our own backyard project. But like, we're better at looking for ways to play when we're mindful of it.
Yes.
That our problem is we like lose sight of it and we have to bring ourselves back around. But I think the play is the most obvious physical, visceral thing. So it's very noticeable when it's gone. It's very noticeable when we want it.
Yeah.
Whatever. But when it comes to the intricacies of our dynamic outside of what is just part of the base layer of who we are together, right? You are always daddy. You are always the decider. I have set routines. It is my default to want to take care of and do for you. So like, we don't even have to really think about those things. But when it comes to the, you know, the little details of like, I really wish you'd use that tone of voice, or I like it when you give me that look, or it's been a hot minute since you just told me what to do, or those kinds of conversations, right? And from your perspective, it might be, it's been a hot minute since you just did what I told you to do, and that would be really nice, right? I have to believe there will come a point, in hopefully the not too distant future, where we can just have that conversation, where all of the things that are like boiling over right now are calm enough that they get to just be like in the periphery for the 30 minutes that conversation takes, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And we can be mindful about that again, because I think what's happened for the past several years and is continuing to happen, but the reason that I wanted to have this topic felt important is because it continues to happen, but I feel like I am missing the mark as a submissive more often now than I used to. I'm forgetting more things. I'm not doing things as well as I used to, blah, blah, blah. It's because we can't always be mindful of those little details that help us feel more connected. Yeah. We have that base layer of this is who we are and how we interact in all things, and we rely on that, and we have relied on that for the past several years. I think that was where that train was going. The thought kind of looped and I missed it for me. And so that's, you know, I don't have... It's not that I'm not optimistic. I think it's that I'm realistic enough to not be able to go, one day when we have no problems again. Like, it's never going to be that way.
It's never going to be that. I mean, that's totally,
it's just how
totally
life works.
That's unrealistic. Yeah. But
right now, there's so many other things going on, and some of them are going to be going on for potentially a very long time before they settle into whatever the new normal is. That all I can do now is I don't know where we would pull the time to get more kink in, be more mindful with one another, have those deeper dom sub moments that we're both missing.
Right.
But what I can do is try to be more mindful of just my day to day. I mean, you are so kind and forgiving when I forget something that has been a task for 10 years, y'all. Like, this June of this year, we will have lived together for 10 years. Just to, like, this
That's
is,
right.
we got a lot of, like, 10-year things coming up. We have been for over a year now. And I've been doing some of these things for almost 10 years. And you've always been, especially once it became habit and you knew that for me to forget, that was weird.
Right.
You know, you've always been very forgiving and very understanding. And I can't even remember what the fuck it was I did forget. But I forgot something. It was a coffee related thing. And it threw things off and you couldn't have what you wanted. And I'm not the type that walks around feeling like I'm failing. I'll tell you, I feel like I'm failing as a mother more often than not. I'm failing as an adult who's supposed to have her shit together, but I'm not the type who walks around feeling like I have failed as a submissive. Like, I don't think I'm doing as much as I would like to do. I don't think that I'm giving you as much as I once did. Like, those things I feel like I'm very aware of, but I never feel like I'm failing. And recently, having forgotten small things that then made life harder and made it so you couldn't have exactly what you wanted, that was what I felt like. I was like, I feel like I'm failing at this. Now, is that because there's so much else going on that I already have those feelings and I'm kind of primed to feel that way? And under different circumstances, I would never see it that way? Yes. But also, that there's something there when that's the thought that comes to mind. You know, I know you don't think I am. Mm-mm. I know that. I know you would never tell me that. Even if you thought I was falling down on the job, you would never say it that way. And you're extremely understanding.
I'd be more apt to ask you what's going on, what's the matter.
Right. And yet this was the impetus for this kind of conversation, because I was like, I am missing so much of what we were able to do and who we were able to be not even that long ago, that we just can't right now. And while the realistic side of my brain understands,
yes,
one, that there's valid reasons for this, and two, that this is not forever, it doesn't change the fact that it feels like an ongoing pattern, and that sometimes my inner glittery optimist just can't muster up the fucking optimism. But,
yep.
I mean, I don't know if I'm feeling more optimistic, but I'm feeling less shitty after the past hour or so.
Yeah.
I don't know what anybody else is getting from it, but I'm feeling less awful than I started out with. How are you feeling?
I feel okay. It's, since we had not really talked about this, between ourselves, because we've been talking about so many other things.
There's always something else.
It's kind of nice to know that you are on the same page as I am.
Yeah, I can see. I know. I know I'm really bad at closing myself off and just kind of going into my own head and trying to solve the world's problems on my own. And I don't always read you or anybody else, but even you, I don't always read you well. So it's weird that you're like, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. And I'm over here having that moment of, oh, okay, good, I'm not the only one. Like the moment you said that, it's like, of course he was feeling that way. Of course he was. But it did not compute until this moment.
Yeah.
I don't know how to end this conversation between us. I know how to end that. That being y'all.
Yeah.
I guess I can just stop now. Do you have any final thoughts on this?
I think I've pretty much.
Yeah, I can't tie it up in a little bow and give a resolution.
No, and it's not something at this point that you can just tie up with a ribbon and
I mean, you could tie me up with a ribbon, but when do we have time? Yeah. And if you fell asleep while I was tied up, I would be pissed about that. That one would upset me. Because knowing my luck, the safety scissors would be not near me.
Yeah. So, it's, yeah.
We're here.
Mm-hmm.
I love you.
I love you too.
I'm happy to be your submissive.
I'm happy to be your daddy. Daddy
I
Dom.
would like to be a better submissive, but, work in progress.
I think, it's all a work in progress for all of us. And I think that's kind of what it's all about. And understanding that it's a work in progress. And
yeah. And I have to remember that sometimes you can just sit down and have a conversation and there won't be a resolution, but that doesn't mean that the conversation isn't worth having.
Right.
You know me, I'm a fixer. If we're going to sit down and talk about a thing, I want us to also come up with all the solutions and then,
to fix it all.
And then implement them and make life better.
And that's not always the case, though.
And then what even is the point if we can't do that? I know who I am, y'all. I do. So that might be a dissatisfying end for anybody who also likes little neat bow resolutions. What I will say is I don't know what anybody would have gotten out of this other than, oh my God, would these two shut the fuck up about their personal problems?
Right.
That's fair. I guess the thing I would hope anybody else walks away with is this, that even if you can't come up with a resolution, there's no resolution and you can't change anything about what's going on, it's still worth having the conversation. Yeah. And check-ins they never have been just for when things are going well. Or you're trying to for when you can focus on your power exchange. I think they're equally, if not more important, when you know that you haven't been able to focus on your power exchange, because then the check-in becomes hey, let me acknowledge where I'm maybe not doing my best. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's make sure we're still on the same page, because that has been the hardest thing, is when I feel disconnected from you. Not in the, it's so weird. When I feel disconnected from JB because he is going through something and is pulled away from me, I find that intolerable and unbearable, and we are going to solve that.
But
when I feel disconnected, either because I'm going through my own shit, or because we're both being pulled in different directions, and it's happening at the same time, so I'm not focusing on how you've pulled away from me, because we're just, feels like we're pulling away together, if that makes any sense. Probably not. And then I lost the train of thought. But when we can sit down and talk about it, I feel less alone, and things are still what they are, but they don't feel as unbearable.
Right. Well, I'm gonna try and finish your train of thought that you lost a little bit there, because you were saying how when I pull myself away, you jump in and you want to fix it.
Yeah, I can't handle it. You got to reconnect to me.
And when you pull away, you're just like, no, back, get away.
Oh,
stay.
We might joke about how I'm a Scorpio bitch, but that is probably never truer than when I'm sort of self-isolating and closed off. Yeah. Because I get it in my head that my problems aren't solvable, but if I can so nobody can help me, but if I can just obsess over the problems, I'll come up with a solution and fix it myself. Oh, I could probably keep a therapist in Starbucks for life if I would just go see one. So much to unpack. So yeah, nothing necessary to learn other than that JB accidentally turned down a blowjob. But if it prompts you to have your own conversations, then I think that's a good thing. I think that even when you can't fix it, talking through it is still helpful. And
sometimes it's helpful just to talk about it.
Yeah. And sometimes I avoid that because I'm like, I don't want to talk about a thing I can't solve, because that's just reminding me that I can't solve the problem. Yeah. But you know what? Those times I'm not meant to have that conversation. And then there'll come a moment where I'm like, I want to be with my daddy, and let's just have a conversation, and wherever it goes, it goes. And then I can talk about that. It's helpful if you put it on the internet and you give yourself an audience.
Yeah, right.
Your mileage may vary. Okay.
All right.
That's a lot from us. If it makes anybody feel any better, I've already planned out next week's episode, and it should not be this fucking heavy. Or whatever this was. This next week I think will be a fun one, because we haven't done it in a few weeks. So. Okay, yeah, we can do a bonus section.
Okay. So, are we good?
I'm probably not the one to ask. Keep it kinky, y'all. And we'll see you next week. Daddy.
Yes, baby girl.
Can I talk to the crickets?
Sure.
I don't know what to say. I mean,
nope, now you got to say something. You asked to talk, and I gave you permission.
A laundry list of things that are going on. Sometimes I get very self-conscious about the bonus section, because I imagine the meanest possible person who could come across our content who doesn't know us and be like, why the fuck are you telling anybody this? I am not nice to myself when life gets stressful. I default to the meanest voice in my head possible. I'm not happy about it, but I do recognize what happens. So let's see. I'll go through the laundry list. I somehow convinced a doctor I really don't vibe with to please give me my estrogen and testosterone back. Then I am miserable I no longer have a uterus or a cervix, and so those hormones are like wonky, but they were wonky even when I did have all of the plumbing, and so please let me have that medication back. I am miserable. And she reluctantly did. I've only been on it a few days, so it's not been long enough for anything. But I feel like it's a step in the right direction, which it's weird. I'd only been off the medication for like 3.5, 4 months, but it was all happening in the midst of all these other changes that have been taking place. And so I stopped feeling hopeful about anything. Mm-hmm. And then getting that one change, even though she was so reluctant, and she's just not a doctor I vibe with. But I also don't have the mental energy to go look for another doctor. So it's like, what the fuck ever. That I felt hopeful. Like when she was like, yeah. And then of course she was slow to move to get me the prescriptions that I need. And I had to do some stuff to make it happen on my own. I had to work for it, but whatever, at least I got it. I'm finally going to go to my doctor on Friday about whatever's going on with my arms, neck, and shoulders, which has been keeping me from sleeping a full night for a year at this point, maybe. Maybe not quite that long.
No, not quite that long.
Well, definitely almost 6 months, but maybe, I don't know. So I am looking forward to that. I don't know that. I think all she's going to do is go, I think I need to refer you to the orthopedic doctor. And I'll be like, okay.
Probably send you for an x-ray first.
Yeah, they usually do. I think the question I'm going to be is there anything you can give me that will help with this pain at night? Because I would like to try to sleep again. Thanks. I know that's part of a lot of my emotional problems is I'm just not sleeping well, and that will fuck you up for sure. What else is on my laundry list of things? We're gonna go on our little road trip to buy mica, which is what we use in our resin. For anybody who's like, what the fuck is mica? It's color and pigment.
Well, the place we've been buying from, they're here in Florida, and we've been really, really pleased with their product and their colors. While shopping on the internet is well and good, sometimes you don't get a true representation of the color online. So we want to go see what they have in person.
Yep. We had always told ourselves if we ever got to go shop in person, we would just buy everything we wanted. That we are adorable. We're gonna go in with a list and a budget, but that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, we're doing that this weekend. The 18-year-old has a concert this Thursday night that we're gonna go see. I'm very excited about that. I've not seen the child since.
That's right, tomorrow night.
God,
yeah.
When was the last time I saw that child?
Would have been back in December, mid-December, no?
Late December when he came home for Christmas. Oh my!
And your mom?
No, he came home for Christmas because he went to the concert with us.
Oh, yeah, the TSO.
Has that been the last time I saw my baby boy? Who is not a baby boy, he's a fucking adult, but whatever. Oh my God, has it really been that long?
I just saw him this past weekend.
I know, and you saw him a couple weekends before.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to see him, and he's going to hate it when I, hang on his neck for, longer than he probably wants, because I'll be like, I have missed you. But yeah, we're going to go watch his concert on Thursday. This is the youngest has lots of doctor's appointments. There's just lots of stuff going on. But I did have a win this week. So, pediatrician was not helpful, but I always start with the pediatrician when it's new stuff, take a look, make sure tell me if it's something that you need to prescribe something or blah. We did that, and he was like, oh, you need to call his GI, his this, his that. And I was like, okay, you are not helpful at all. Nor did he didn't deny, but he also didn't validate when I was like, you see all this laundry list of symptoms, do you think they could be connected? He was like, so helpful. Yeah. Anyway, so when I called the GI doctor, because I knew that was going to be the next call I needed to make, but I was like, they were like, I am so sorry. Our next appointment is not available until January of 2025. And I went, what? What?
Yeah.
They said, we'll get you on the schedule so you have an appointment officially, and then you can call at any point to see if we have cancellations or openings that have come up. And I'm like, okay. And so then the 14-year-old had a really bad day physically, and I went, I've got to call this GI doctor. I didn't think I was going to call today, but I'm going to call today. It was a few days later. I call back, and I get just the nicest, most helpful human on the planet. And she's telling me, she's like, well, they've put a hold on scheduling stuff because they're going through some restructuring or whatever. She was like, that's probably why there wasn't anything available till 2025. I was like, yeah, I get that, but can you just check? And she goes, yeah, let me pull up the master or whatever. She goes, and this was it was on Monday I called. She goes, I have an appointment open for next Monday. I went, I don't care what time it is. I don't care what office it is. We will take it. So that was delightful. Yeah. I almost had, I don't ever want to be a Karen. I don't ever want to be a Karen. I don't ever want to be a Karen, but I think I understand the urge sometimes. So, psychiatrist's office, the kid's got anxiety. We have to manage that medically. We tried not managing that medically, and that was the worst 2 months of anybody's lives in this house. Certainly for the kid. So he's got an appointment. We drive to it. While I'm driving to it, it's 45 minutes away because he does not want telehealth. He does not function well with it. So I'm like, fine, we'll go in person. But the office is 45 minutes away. I'm on the highway driving to the office. The billing department is calling me, demanding payment before the appointment. Now, here's how the office works. They don't let the doctor know you're there to see them until they collect payment. So they were going to get payment before the appointment. I can't answer the phone when I'm driving down the fucking highway, nor do I like that office enough to be willing to. So they call 45 minutes out from the appointment. We get there 15 minutes early because that's what they always tell you to do. And I know I got to make a payment and I like to be early. It helps my anxiety. My phone's on silent, so I did not know this. From the time I pulled into the parking lot, they called. I didn't realize it because my phone was in my purse. Then I get to the front desk and I'm giving the front desk person my payment for his appointment because they don't take his insurance and we're self-pay until I find him a new doctor. She takes my payment. Before she can click the button on her little system that says payment received, they have called a third time and canceled the appointment that we're standing in the fucking office for. I'm sitting in the waiting area. I happen to look at my phone. I pull up, thank God for transcript on voicemail. I pull it up and it says, this appointment has been canceled. I'm like, what the actual fucking fuck? I calmly and quickly walk to the front desk and I'm holding my phone and I said, excuse me. She goes, oh, I saw it. I'm fixing it. She goes, they literally did that right as I was about to click the button that says payment received. Then the doctor had gotten the message that the appointment was canceled and didn't see the message rescheduled. So we waited 20 minutes in the waiting room, and it was that front desk person deserves a raise and a medal because she's the one that went to the office and was like, your 9:30 is here and has been here. He comes out mortified. He's like, I got a message that the appointment was canceled. I'm like, yeah, that was your billing office doing that while we were standing here. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We get through the appointment. Kid gets the medication I wanted him to be on because we know it fucking works. And he gives us 3 months of refills. And I'm like, hot fucking damn. That means I don't have to deal with this place for 3 fucking months. And I'll go find a new psychiatrist's office. Then the fucking rub of this, y'all. Oh my God. So he said, you don't have to worry about scheduling a follow-up while you're here. No big deal. If something comes up and you need me, go ahead, call. We'll get you in. He's like, but otherwise you can wait and make that follow-up for 3 months from now. I'm like, okay, fine. And in my head, I'm going, I'm not making another goddamn appointment with you motherfuckers. But I didn't say that to him because it's not his fault that the admin side of this place is nuts. Yeah. Now, here's the fucking irony. I didn't make an appointment that day, right? Right. The next day, I get an email and a voicemail about how, hey, you didn't make a follow-up appointment, and follow-up appointments are important for continuation of care. Oh, really? The appointments are important for a continuation of goddamn care? Who would have thought? Would you call at your earliest convenience and make that follow-up appointment? At the same time, the billing office calls. No, not the billing, like some other part of their admin goes, oh, we see that your appointment was canceled, but now you've made payment, and if you would like to reschedule that canceled appointment.
Yeah. They're They're a hot mess.
And then the next day, I didn't tell you, I got another follow-up email / voicemail about how you should really make that follow-up appointment. It's good for continuation of care, continuity of care, whatever they say. Are you fucking kidding me? This is the same place that the kid's new health insurance, new to him, I mean, is listed on the psychiatrist's office website as insurance they take. It's listed on the insurance site's thing of find a provider. Listed twice. The pediatrician still has that office listed as they accept this kind of insurance. Because I asked for, do you have a list of, psychiatrists that you recommend work with? Oh, yeah. Like, give me a list. I got to start somewhere. But I called twice. Because I was like, oh, this insurance used to be under a different name. So let me call a second time because maybe they didn't know the new name. Let me give the old name. Twice. And they were like, nope, we don't take that insurance. And see, here's the thing. I'm willing to bet they might. And they just don't fucking know they do. Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm feeling better about this so I can talk about it because I was very sad about this. There's no segue here. That's all going on on top of just other things. Been helping the 14-year-old with lots of things, health, school, just lots of stuff. And I worry about him every moment of every day. It's just like, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah. And then he reminds me, and he's needed me. I mean, he's said, Mom, I need your help. Don't leave me. I need you. I'm here, baby. I'm here. Whatever you need. And then today, I'm trying to talk to him about something, and he treats me with the utter disdain of all teenagers everywhere. And in the moment, my feelings were hurt. But now, I'm like, oh, he acted like a typical teenager. Oh, he was a little asshole. We love to see it. Look, I'm telling you, when you have to see a very vulnerable side of somebody you care about, first of all, it's a bit of a shock when you get to see their air quote typical side. It took me a minute. My feelings really were hurt. I had to walk away and be like, you're the adult, regulate your own emotions, you're the adult, be the adult. I had to go have a moment to myself. But now I'm in a better frame of mind. I'm like, he was a shitty teenager. Oh, that's actually a good sign. Yeah. Yeah. I can't even be mad at him anymore. So yeah. So that's my stuff. I mean, we've been sending out orders and selling kinky shit, and it's delightful, and I get such a dopamine hit every fucking time. And you and I have good plans for restocking what's now sold out, and we're on it, and we're doing it, and that part is just clicking away. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's not where we need it to be financially for our personal situation, but it's
doing good.
It's moving in the right direction. But there's just...
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. And when we're done here, I'm going to go do 8th grade math, which means I'm going to reteach myself 8th grade math from 30 plus years ago. And then go do 8th grade math with the 14-year-old. But,
I know.
So, yeah. Anything? And I know I suck up all the oxygen. Anything? No? That was enough, huh?
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
There we are.
There we are.
Good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah. Usually all in the same 5-second moment. Just on a loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can be done. If you stuck around till this bitter end, you are fucking amazing.
Right.
And I don't have anything else to say to that.
No.
Thanks to Beducated for sponsoring. They keep sponsoring the chaos, so clearly they enjoy the chaos.
Yeah.
I always feel like I feel bad, and then I'm like, no, they keep coming back. So they enjoy
do.
it on some level. Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
I guess we're gonna stop now. Just stop.
Yep.
I'm gonna at least say goodbye.
Bye.
See you next week.
Thanks.
Hopefully I don't cry next week. That would be nice.